My name is Sectonius Watson, and I'm here sitting here today talking about the history of Black food, culinary food pathways. I'll begin by talking about my own background and how I arrived at this interest. Well, my own background is I'm trained in graduate studies in historical methodology. I'm an educator by trade. I have done extensive research on my own cultural background, which is Geechee Gullahs from the southeastern coast of the United States. My interest includes most African American diasporatic cultures, but concentrating really just Black folks in the United States, African Americans, no matter where they hail from. I arrived at the interest of food because I saw that it was a major component of just identity for people. And I think one of the most interesting things as it deals with just food in general, a lot of food is given credit to other people's, particularly just using an example, let's say Louisiana. A lot of things we call Cajun are really Creole, and a lot of things that we call Creole are really African, African in origin. Example being, let's take for example, jambalaya. Jambalaya sounds very close to and being a direct descendant of jollof rice. Anybody who's had West African cuisine have had this tasty mixture of rice, tomatoes, maybe some sort of seafood and other things that go along with it. Very similar to jambalaya. Ooh, so like I said, I think it's very important that our people and people in general know the origins of a lot of their dishes. So let's say red beans and rice. Red beans and rice does find its origins in West Africa. Just an example would be Ghana. Ghana has a tradition of cooking what they will call peas and rice. So the combination of this beans and rice, very much a West African origin, coming from like South Carolina and Georgia. Rice was also another everyday item, everyday thing. So South Carolina, rice was actually one of the wealth products of the colony of South Carolina. They called it Carolina Gold. In fact, that particular strain of rice almost went extinct for a second, and just recently they started recultivating it. Africans cultivated rice. In fact, Africans were cultivating rice for over 4,000 years. So beans, legumes were a big part of the West African diet. And what we known is, it's funny, when I was looking at a lot of research when I was in undergrad and grad, I used to talk about cowpeas all the time. Cowpeas and stuff like that. And I used to wonder, what is that? Kind of find out it's black eyed peas for the most part. And we do black eyed peas for New Year's, of course. When we talk about black eyed peas, my wife makes a very good Hoppin' John dish, because that's what we call it, Hoppin' John. A black eyed pea dish, which is related to good luck. And come to find out, there's a little history behind that too. The good luck behind black eyed peas, they were saying that it was once it was associated with Muslim holidays in Senegal prior to the slave trade. People along the equatorial belt seem to have sort of spicy foods, but cayenne in particular, cayenne in particular, was something that was really brought here from West Africa again. And it was used medicinally also. So it was also considered a medicinal use among African captives who were brought here as slaves. Another example would be, let's say, sweet potatoes and yams. We did not get a chance to have African yams as they do in Africa, though the Caribbean does actually have African yams. The closest thing we came to the mainland United States would be with sweet potatoes, big sweet potatoes. Even though the actual yams look like a big piece of tree bark, it's still considered a root food. So we utilize sweet potatoes in a way that our ancestors would have utilized yams. It's been my pleasure to go ahead and talk to you all about our African American cuisine, our culinary heritage, and our contributions to the American palate. Thank you for listening.